In the history of warfare, there have been generals who conquered cities and some who overturned empires. But then comes the mention of Khalid. But the result? Undefeated. Winning against the superpowers of his time seemed impossible. More than 100 battles. He was a master of war who moved like the wind and struck like lightning. But this is not just a story of winning. It is the story of a man who searched for death in every corner of the battlefield. But perhaps death itself was afraid to touch him. Before becoming Saifullah, he was a great test for the Muslims. On the field of Uhud, it was his military strategy that turned a winning game around. But destiny had written something else. The heart of this warrior changed. He entered Medina not as a conqueror, but as a true believer. And there, the Prophet of Allah, peace be upon him, gave him the title that was greater than any empire. He was no longer just Khalid, he was Saifullah, the sword of Allah without a sheath. Then the world saw the Romans bringing mountains of iron and the Persians charging with war elephants. On the field of Yarmouk, the enemy outnumbered them significantly. For anyone else, this would be suicide, but for Khalid, this was a move of chess. With psychological warfare and lightning speed, he didn't just defeat the Roman army, he shattered it. In a single battle, 9 swords broke in his hand. Because when the sword of Allah strikes, even iron melts away. 9 swords. And yet, the man who sought martyrdom in the ranks of the enemy was taking his last breaths on his bed. Dying on a bed like this, at the time of his death, he showed the wounds on his body. He said, "There is no part of my body without the scar of a sword, an arrow, or a spear." He cried and said, "May the eyes of cowards never sleep." He wanted to die a martyr, but perhaps he forgot one thing, that the sword of Allah cannot be broken by any human.